and in 98. We're a good team. Had some good personnel. How were you able to kind of flip it to where we were a dominant football team?
You know, Eric, you were part of it. The attraction for me was to come and play with a lot of great players, you know, like yourself and Tim Brown and Steve Wisniewski. There was a lot, Russell Merlin. There was a lot of really good players. It just felt like we just needed a little bit more definition and a little bit more leadership. And I thought there was a transition with the new coaching staff with John, who I hadn't been there the year before. All I cared about was just coming in and working hard and trying to help the team win. And that was really my focus from day one. And I really struggled. That first year was really hard for me in 99 because I'd come from an organization where all I had to do was walk in the building every day, and there was a certain level of professionalism and attention to detail. And we got there, though.
Yeah,
you know, it took us a while, but like we eventually got rid of some players that didn't want to do it and weren't as committed and focused as players like Eric. And so
what's going on, Raider Nation? I'm Hardcore Raider. I'm going to give some thoughts on this Queefs game. Raiders lose again. Another failed season. Got some show notes I wrote down. I kind of want to go over a couple things. Just going to kind of read off. First of all, make sure you guys subscribe. We're going to give that Davante Adams jersey away probably like 2 weeks. Let the season kind of die down, and then I'll do that. But all right, so pretty frustrated, guys. Say what's up to Ryan Miller. Anybody else in the chat? So Brian Miller. Yeah, that was a great time with, I'm glad you caught that, with Gannon and Woodson. 2000s, man. Jeez, I just would like for this team to start getting back to something similar to that. Thought it was a good interview pregame by JT the Brick, but you know, just I don't know, man. Kind of go over this some notes I have here, and then a few thoughts I have on everything. So O-line was dog shit. All right. Alex Bars couldn't block anybody. It was like absolute disgrace, man. That the offensive line, I know Chris Jones is a pretty awesome you know, defensive tackle or defensive lineman, but you know, our offensive line just got exposed today. I think it just goes to show the lack of talent on this team, whether or not Carr was in there or Stidham, you know. Then, you know, Darren Waller had a missed opportunity on third down. I think that was a big play, a big missed opportunity. Cornerbacks can't cover. Amik Robertson got burned once, but then he had a nice breakup later on in the game. But that first one really hurt us. As well as, I don't think it was Amik Robertson, but the first touchdown they got where both the cornerbacks pulled up and they left, I think it was McKinnon wide open in the end zone for that little like shovel pass deal. Raiders missing tackles, you know, that was a huge thing. I felt like we definitely missed a lot of tackles, a lot of missed opportunities, and poor tackling had a big part in this game. Can't score in the fucking red zone, man. 1 yard line, settling for field goals. You're never going to win football games like that. You cannot settle for field goals and expect to be successful in the NFL, especially against a team like the Chiefs. That's one of the best, if not the best in the NFL. So as much as I hate to say it, but they are. If anything, Raiders just help them have home field advantage, which means the chances of Chiefs going to a Super Bowl, we just help them increase their chances. So we'll see what happens when the Bills play. Hopefully the Bills win, I guess. So hopefully, you know, hopefully it can hurt the Chiefs' chances a little bit for having home field advantage. Did want to say cheers. Decided to open up a beer. I got some Firestone 805 up in here. Hell yeah. From the 805, Cali 805, all the way to here in Colorado. So it's pretty cool. I used to go to Firestone back when I lived in Cali. So, all right. Safety Morrig, I you know, he helped break up a couple big plays. I felt like Morrig did better than other times I've seen. Not saying he played great, but that was something that kind of stood out to me because we've seen him in the past just kind of completely miss plays. Raider Stadium, of course, it was more like an away game with all the Chief fans there. So it just goes to show how, like, not just expensive these tickets are, but how pissed off Raider fans are at this organization right now. Get into Josh Jacobs' total rushing yards, some stats in the game here in a minute. You know, one of the things I thought was funny, well, two things I thought was funny, not really funny, but it's kind of funny. So one of them is, first of all, sports betting had the Raiders only win in 6 games, you know, at the beginning of the season. And I thought that was crazy. Like, why would the sports bettors only have the Raiders win in 6 games? And then they turn out to be right. I mean, is that by fucking design, or is that like just at a like random, like happen chance? I don't fucking know, but it's crazy to me. It's crazy that we only won 6 games. You know, speaking on that, I don't know, man. I mean, Stidham didn't play good, not nearly as good as he did against the Niners, but I definitely feel like McDaniel's play calling wasn't that great this game, and possibly McDaniel's maybe wanting a higher draft pick versus beating the Chiefs. So, I respect JT the Brick and your boy Q a lot. So much love and respect to them. But something JT's been saying is that this team is under a deconstruction process, right? And my video where I went off yesterday about the Dave Ziegler interview, that's not what we were told, guys. We were not told this was going to be a rebuild. We were told far from the other. I'm not saying exactly we were going to go to the Super Bowl, but the message that was presented to us was not that we were going to deconstruct the entire fucking team or most of it. You know what I mean? So, they're not being honest, guys, and it pisses me off. I love JT, but I called into the Raiders show a little while ago, and I called them all out on it, and they should be. We should call all of them out on this shit, dude. Gruden did this. As much as I've loved Gruden, John Gruden did the same shit to us, guys. John Gruden did the same shit to us. We were told it wasn't a rebuild. Next thing you know, full fucking rebuild. And it's horse shit, man. I'm tired of the rebuilds. I'm tired of the coaching changes. I'm so tired of so much bullshit with this fucking team. I mean, they got to get this shit figured out. I know some people have a lot of confidence in these guys. I don't know, guys. I feel like they should adjust their leadership style to get the best out of the team. The best leaders adjust their style to get the best out of the team. And they didn't do it. It was not good enough. This was below average. This is horse shit. Raider Dave's up in here. Let's get him in here, man. What's up, Raider Dave? How you doing? How you feeling, man?
What up, man? Happy Saturday.
Yeah, cheers.
And that keeps feeling like a Sunday. I know I got mine poured strong today. Nice. Hey, man, I didn't even get the tailgate off.
I got some
805.
805. That's my country, dude. I lived in the 805 Central Coast, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I checked out that spot, dude. Actually, I went down to that brewery. Well, actually, I didn't get a chance to freaking check it out, dude. They had a police standoff out front. So when I went there, dude, me and my mom went, of all people. Mom was like, "Hey, you want to go check out this bar?" And we were up there in that area, Solvang area, and all that, dude. And
okay.
we went to the 805 brewery, dude, and fucking there's a full-on police standoff. But bigger standoff, bro. We have a 20-year AFC West drought, man. This team that whooped our ass today, they just won they already won their 7th straight, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, man. No, it's literally I see that comment right there, Steven. Yeah, dude, I know Chris Jones had his way today with Alex Bars, man. And literally had his way, man. And it sucks because you see, there's things to look at, man, like our season, man. You just look at that number, what are we at? Number 7 seed in the playoffs, dude. That 8-8 record standing strong right now for a playoff, like showing that 9-8 was a legit push, a legit. You can make your case at 9-8 for a playoff run. And the Raiders had their chance to go 9-8. Man, what a year, blowing leads, all that. And here we are, getting blown out. They said that was the second double-digit blowout that we had this year besides that Saints game, this game and that game. So,
yeah, absolutely. Let me give some quick shout-outs in the chat if you don't mind, real quick. Start at the top. Ryan Miller, dude, what up? Steven, Chris, Brandon. Who else we got in here? Kenneth Evans, dude, what up? Billy J from the trenches. What do we got here? How do we pronounce that? PBM. Honestly honest, man. That's funny. Mark Torres, what up? Ready for the world. Alice Ghost, salute. Yeah, so we'll get into this, man, and I'll try to get in some comments here, like kind of get your guys' opinions. I don't know if you heard my my notes. I did. I can repeat them again here real quick. Just kind of some stuff I had jotted down. O-line crap. Matt Collins missed opportunities. Darren Waller missed opportunity. Cornerbacks can't cover. Raiders missed tackle. Safety Morrig kind of helped on a couple big plays, break up big plays. Can't score in the red zone, settling for field goals. Raiders Stadium looked more like an away stadium. McDaniels tanking for draft picks to bring in Brady. That's a funny one. That's a hot take. And then sports bettors having the Raiders only win in 6 games, and turned out the sports bettors were correct. So pretty crazy, man. When I think about that sports betting thing, and I definitely didn't feel like McDaniels was trying to win this game. I think some of the players played tough, but and they're a good football team. But and then later, I guess we'll get into some of the Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and season yards and stuff, and then maybe some of the game stats as well. I think the Chiefs had a total of 6 sacks or something. So I want to look at that.
6 sacks.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just a lot of deficiencies on this team. But like my main thing, dude, is like like I said, I love JT the Brick, but like he's saying like the roster is getting deconstructed, and now we're at a point where the coaching staff and GM has done like the evaluation of everybody. But this isn't what we were told. I mean, I went off last night because it fired me up. I'm going to try not to freak out right now again. But, I mean, I'm just tired of getting lied to by these fucking clowns, man. I know you're a big fan of Ziegler and you support the Raiders staff a lot of times. And, like, I respect that, dude. But, like, I'm just tired of us getting lied to, dude. It's one thing if, it's one thing if we go into it and like, hey, like we're going to evaluate everybody. Like they are dishonest, and to the point where I don't even trust that they're going to sign Josh Jacobs, which really pisses me off. If there's any, if they could gain any credibility from the lies and the fucking bullshit they fed us Raider fans this year, right? If they could do anything to gain their credibility, it's to sign Josh Jacobs. If they don't sign Josh Jacobs, I have zero confidence in this fucking staff. So I don't know. Anything you want to say on any of my notes I had written down, or
as for signing Josh Jacobs, I hope they get that one to the negotiating table, and hope they get that deal kind of locked up, man. Josh Jacobs, nearly 2,100 all-purpose yards, dude. Mediocre. Well, what do you have, like 12 carries today for like 45 yards or something like that, 1 catch for 5. So, so Josh Jacobs, man, but look at that season, the impact of the season that he had, and the impact that he's had since he's come onto the Raiders. I think they, just from the outside looking in, man, I think they got to get him somewhere around $12 million a year. I think if they can get that kind of deal on the table for him, his top dollar could be $15 million a year, but I think if they get him for $12 million a year, just get that one in, and he says he wants to be a Raider, hopefully they get him signed up in the offseason, and hopefully it's somewhat of a priority, for this staff. Once again, they did have a little bit of talk about how they're going to evaluate the situation. So still a lot remains to be seen. Now, as far as like the Raiders' direction, I mean, I think their ultimate, the way they wanted to approach this, I mean, the way they were going to do this thing originally with Derek Carr was Derek Carr and John Gruden, that 10-year marriage, dude. And that fell apart. So, I think, of course, the wisest thing to do if they're in a transition rebuild mode would have been to keep Rich Bisaccia and do this, kind of on the fly. But then again, maybe they felt they needed to get a guy like Dave Ziegler, who is groomed and ready to be a GM. I don't think he's doing a terrible job. I
mean, to be on the fence, or like to weigh both sides of the coin, we don't have any body of work other than like maybe look at some of the contracts he signed and like getting Devontae Adams and, last year's draft. So we can't say one way or the other whether it's working or he's done good or if he's done bad.
Well, look at the two biggest, we have 2 superstar players that came out, like literally Josh Jacobs came onto the scene and took a storm in the NFL this year. Not crediting Josh McDaniels for that. What I'm saying is
they didn't bring on Jacobs. That was John Gruden. That was part of the Khalil Mack.
Yeah, but they did deny his 5th-year option, so they put him in a contract year.
Yeah, and this could have been the last game that Jacobs says we ever see him wearing the silver and black. This could have been the last.
Wore
game
my jersey today, man, for that reason.
Silver and black,
and that would be part of the business.
It's fucked. No,
That's
you're
part
right.
of the business. That's just part of the business.
It is, but if they could do one fucking thing right, it's to fucking sign Josh Jacobs. Because what if?
Well, of course, we want that. I want
thinking,
that,
bro. Here's my thinking, dude.
But what for one?
They-
Hold on.
want-
What makes you think they're not going to resign Josh?
Because
Jacobs?
of this, I think they want Tom Brady, and I think they're going to do everything they can to get him. And I think they'll overpay Tom Brady. Okay, so like say Tom Brady wants 30, 35 mil. I think they'll pay that. And if it comes down to paying Tom Brady that, they'll pay Tom Brady that instead of give Josh Jacobs a 10, $12 million deal. Now, if Tom Brady would play for like, let's say 15, 20 mil max, then, that leaves enough room to buffer to like sign Jacobs. But if Brady comes in, I think this whole thing is done by design because no matter how good Stidham would have done or not done, I think their goal is to get Brady no matter fucking what. And Mark Davis is a sellout.
That part I don't know.
Mark Davis is a fucking sellout, right? He'll sell his soul to a fucking buck, and he can make money off of Tom Brady and Tom Brady's brand being a Raider. Even though us, the real Raider Nation, don't fucking want Tom Brady. Most of us real Raider fans don't want Tom Brady. And sure, maybe the guy gives us the best chance to try to make a Super Bowl run next year. That's possible. However, dude, this guy has never he's not the kind of quarterback that's going to groom a younger guy. Everybody thinks he can be a bridge QB. Tom Brady never in his career has ever done that, dude.
Yeah.
Not with Stidham, not with Jimmy Garoppolo. Nobody that's ever been under Tom Brady because Tom Brady wants to start. He's not going to help someone else. That's his competition, dude. So,
a lot of that is rumors right now. We haven't even finished. The Super Bowl hasn't even been played yet.
I'm going to do another video about it. I haven't been wanting to talk about it until the season was all over and shit. For one, I don't want to be right about it. For two, I don't fucking want him wearing our fucking colors, dude. But like everything adds up, right? Other people have done videos on it at this point, but everything adds up that is their true fucking agenda and their true goals was to get Tom Brady from the fucking get-go. Tom Brady's a fucking free agent, right? Tom Brady knows the system. Tom Brady met with Mark Davis, all that shit, dude. Like it all lines up.
Don't forget Dana White.
And if you can get him for a somewhat cheap or cheaper deal, and draft a quarterback still, then it may not be that bad of a game plan. But if Tom Brady wants too much money, I wouldn't pay that motherfucker because he's so old, dude. He's old as fucking dirt. And the fucking tuck game and all that shit. We shouldn't pay him like a buck over 20 mil, even if he's fucking good and shit. Because if we do, that leads me back to what I've been saying for a long time now, where we won't have the money to get the talent we need. Now, if we sign Jacobs, right, like they should, 10, 12 million, maybe 13 mil max. And
got to be 12 million, dude. That's 10 million's unfair to Jacobs.
Yeah,
his value is minimum 12 million.
Right. But like sign Jacobs 10, 12 mil, right? That contract is, him plus a Brady for say, 20 mil, maybe Brady would take 15 mil. I don't fucking know. I guess Tom Brady got scammed by some crypto thing. I don't fucking know if he lost
he's part of the FTX scandal.
But if Brady lost
not part of it, but he bought in and promoted it.
I don't know how much he lost, but if he lost a bunch of money, then he might want to get paid. So, Tom Brady fucked us in the tuck game. Tom Brady could come fuck the Raiders again and ask for way too much money. And I think Josh McDaniels will sell his soul to get fucking Tom Brady. I do. I think him and Ziegler, these guys aren't fucking Raiders, guys. They don't bleed silver and black. We fucking know this, dude. They haven't shown nothing that they understand the history of the Raiders, the Raider Nation, any fucking respect or fucking anything, man. These guys they lied to us, man. They fucking lied to us. It was not a rebuild. And now we're in full fucking rebuild mode. And now we're supposed to accept this piece of dog shit, fucking swallow these turds down my fucking throat, and then be happy about it and say, good fucking game, guys. Fuck that shit. I can't fucking do it.
Once again, with their intentions, I have no idea what their intentions are. It's a business. And as
action, dude, it's all about that action, boss. You can tell by their actions, bro.
But tell me the actions. Tell me the exact actions. Like what is it because here's the thing. Everybody's rumoring Tom Brady.
Five double-digit fucking leads that we've blown, right? It was like 4 or 5 double-digit leads that we've blown.
Absolutely. And that's part of the game.
McDaniels, he's the top. It's on Derek Carr. It's on fucking Josh McDaniels. That's accountability. And when Dave Ziegler did that interview, Dave Ziegler had no accountability, bro.
Yeah.
They're all responsible.
But I'm saying, like, as far as like the Raiders blowing leads, that's just the game, man. That's part of the game. That's 4 quarters of football. We can't
on the leadership.
And until you have somebody like a Brian Flores situation in Miami where they come out and say, hey, look, owner top came down and they told me to throw games. Like I lost my job, like I lost my credibility as a coach and lost my status as a coach because I wasn't abiding by ownership's wishes to tank. We don't have complete evidence the Raiders are tanking. We just don't have that evidence. They did compete. We lost by 1 point to the Chiefs. We were pretty competitive in the division, man. We split with the Chargers. We swept the Broncos. But as far as like Tom Brady getting rumored to the Raiders, man, that's like the reason why that connection's there. And I don't support that. I don't like that's not what I'm calling for this offseason. But what it is Josh McDaniels, man, he's on the hot seat right now. Like he's going to probably lose his job if this continues in the next season, regardless of what people want to say. Like, oh, Mark Davis is kind of trapped. He's kind of stuck with them, this and that. But the thing is that Josh McDaniels, he has to save his job. So maybe in his mind that Tom Brady is his only out in that situation. I can't hate on that. That guy is trying to save his job. I don't know. But here's my thing. As far as the offseason goes, I mean, dude, what if Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl for the Buccaneers? Wouldn't the Buccaneers do everything they in their power if they knew Tom Brady was going to continue to play? Wouldn't they want him to ride it out another year in Tampa Bay or another 1 year, 2 year deal? So I'm just saying it's too early to get wrapped up in that discussion until we're actually in the free agent market and we see who's resigned, what teams are starting to do. We're going to know more about Derek Carr come February 15th. We're going to know more about why all this went down. We're still hearing speculative rumors, man. I just read a rumor this morning that they said that by week 4, they had their mind made up with Derek Carr. I don't know if I can believe that yet, because
well,
we're still
okay. Hold on. Let me pause you right there. I love you, bro. But Vinny Bonsignore is a paid shill, man. He gets leaked information from the top in the Raiders organization. So when like him and Hondo Carpenter, when they're putting out these articles and shit, because they're they're insiders or whatever.
They're labeled as Raiders insiders.
Yeah, but they're getting backdoor information and they're putting out agendas. But Vinny Bonsignore was putting out articles about getting rid of Derek Carr weeks before it actually happened, before they benched him. So I'm telling you, man, like the shit is by design. It's not just by happen chance that Vinny just starts doing these articles and shit. So, I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean articles in regards to what though? Like what were the articles like what is he exactly saying? I mean, I don't really read.
Essentially,
like
it's
if I see something,
the paid media, if they have a goal, right? No matter, and this goes all throughout things beyond just football and the Raiders, but someone that has a paid agenda, they pay the media to start putting out a narrative, right? It's like to soften the blows, right? They start putting out these articles and shit before it happens, so that way when it happens, people aren't as pissed, right? So that's what they do, man.
Yeah,
and that's a fact, man. They do
yeah.
it.
So I'll tell you
politics everywhere. They
so like Vinny
do shit to fit
Bonsignore,
their agenda, and their agenda was never to keep Derek Carr.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I read from Vinny Bonsignore, dude. So like, let's say the Raiders are going to make a trade for Davante Adams. And I'm hearing that. I'm like, oh shit, the Raiders got a deal in place.
Right,
I might verify that information via Adam Schefter or via Vinny Bonsignore, dude. That's how I use those sources. I'm not reading their articles and buying into any kind of propaganda, man, because it's a football game. I can literally watch it for myself. And as far as for us, Raider Nation, the most exciting part of the year is here, the offseason. We don't got to fucking play the Chiefs in the offseason, dude. We signed Davante Adams, and then we get to talk shit on Chiefs fans why they lost Tyreek Hill and why we're still getting our ass kicked. That's what we get to talk about. You know what I mean? So, I've literally, man, as a 37-year plus Raider fan, dude, in his mid-40s, I literally sound out the media. I literally sound out the haters. I literally just watch the game and literally hope for the best for this football team and hope that one day, when one guy goes down, maybe the next guy stepping up is that Hall of Famer, is that next player to take the silver and black where we need to be. Because I remember when the Raiders signed Gannon and there was not that much support. Oh, he's an ex-Chief. Oh, he's this. Gannon knew how to win, and Gannon knew how important winning the AFC West was, because Gannon competed his ass off, man. 2 back-to-back 8-8 seasons, and then he jumps into the year 2000 era, winning 3 straight AFC West titles. We have not won an AFC West title since. The Chiefs just wrapped up their 7th. By the way, that creates a 15-way tie for AFC West titles. We are split dead straight across the board, even in AFC West titles. We haven't won one in 20 years, man. So we'll see what happens, man. But I know the Brady rumors, man, they're a lot of, it's just a lot of speculation at this point, dude. And we still got a whole entire Sunday whole entire Sunday, man. I know, and you know it's funny. Honestly, I'll go off your comment right there. 99 was when, or no, I thought that was year 2000, man, when that happened. Because 99 season, I thought we went 8-8. Year 2000 was in the playoffs by then. So Saragusa,
2000, yeah.
But so let me tell you like a little bit of how I viewed this game going into today. The way I viewed the Raider game going into today was, hey, not only beat the Chiefs to disrupt their playoff hopes, you know, as far as as far as playing at home and getting that bye week, like Mahomes brought up after the game. The key is that in 1999, the Raiders beat the Chiefs on the road and then took that win into the offseason and built off of that and won 3 straight AFC West titles. That's what I was hoping for today. And exactly, Otis, I know rumors are rumors until someone is signed. And it's always this time of year that people start freaking out. Oh my God, this and that. Dude, you're going to see a completely different the free agency is going to shape up. It's going to be way different than what we're imagining right now. The draft is going to be way different than what we're imagining right now. The top 10 pick you think is right now might be a top 50 pick. You know what I mean? Things are going to change. A lot of things need to play out. We haven't even played a Senior Bowl yet. By the way, I was not a Justin Herbert fan. Let's go back to 2020 draft. I was not a Justin Herbert fan in college. You know, saw the ability, saw the upside in him. But check this out. I also saw Justin Herbert in the Senior Bowl. And that's where when he was throwing low and away passes, I went, whoa, shit, Justin Herbert might be a good NFL quarterback. And sure enough, he's doing a little bit of damage in this league, man. So, yeah, I know. I get you honest. It is a part of the game for me, dude. It is because like I said, I grew up watching the game in the 80s, the 90s. For me, winning AFC West titles and overall records and rivalries, especially prestigious rivalries like the Kansas City Chiefs, that's a deep one, dude. Look at that Kansas City Chiefs overall record, dude. They have gotten away, dude. They have gotten away from that type of mentality, man. Because just like today, man, I mean, but yeah, no, I'm seeing a lot of comments pop on here. They're kind of, but anyway, but yeah. Yeah. So, but the records for teams all time, that's a prestigious rivalry. They were just neck and neck. Remember when Charlie Garner ran all over the Chiefs the last time the Raiders won the West, the week before when we beat the freaking Broncos? Then we go into play the Kansas City Chiefs at home in Oakland. It's raining. Charlie Garner, man, running in the mud, shut him out like 24-0. Remember that game? That game, man, we tied the series. We were overall tied, even with like 2 ties or whatever, going back to the AFL days. And now the Chiefs, they've stretched that lead, man. And you know what? That does hurt my Raider pride a little bit right there, because you know what, man, I do take pride in winning the AFC West, getting a home game in the playoffs, man, winning a playoff game, man, and then taking it all the way.
Dude, but we're so far from that right now, dude. That's like
how.
We're not
last year, week 18, we were playing for a playoff spot. Like I've said,
and now
everything can change overnight in the NFL.
They shit canned almost everybody. We're in full fucking rebuild. Billy J, this is a great.
They actually improved the team.
This is a great comment. He said Graham called his bookie at halftime in those games. Some shit, dude. I heard a dude from MGM saying that he's like been fading the Raiders like from first half to second half the entire season, and he's made so much fucking money off the Raiders. Shit in the bed in the second half. It's fucking crazy.
Hey, shout out to Mark Torres' comment though. Hopefully the Jets get him with Carr. That's who has the okay. So let's just talk about, since he's saying basically because the Jets are the team that are really going to push for Carr, man. I think, and that's up to Carr if he pulls the trigger on that no trade clause. But that one's going to be interesting if Derek Carr was to be traded, or if they released him, whatever was to come about that. But let's see here, man. Yeah, so it's hard to say, man. So let's see.
I'm trying to go through. I'm scrolling down. I'm a little bit behind, but
are they on like auto where it's just spitting out comments?
It's just like I'm just on the StreamYard feed, so like I just go through and I just click them in order. So I don't know. I'm at 6:39 right now and it's 6:44, so I'm about 7 minutes behind or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a good comment right here. Chris said Josh McDaniels has no more excuses because Carr is not the quarterback of the Raiders anymore. He ran out of excuses when Mark Davis sat Carr. So that means Mark Davis ran excuses and Josh McDaniels. That's facts, dude. And again, they told us this was not a rebuild. This was going to be a continuation, and now we're in full rebuild, dude.
Yeah, but they did load up the roster this year, though. They got Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? They did sign players on this offense, the only thing that they did not address, that was our biggest concern, was the right side of the offensive line. But everything was there. You had Darren Waller. You had Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams. Man, this thing comes down to winning football games, man. This thing comes down to winning football games when, like I said, winning will cure it all, man. But we got to find out what we're going to do next, man. We got to find that right player. Look at the impact Max Crosby's had, man. I mean, we're finding guys. You know what I mean? It's just it's literally, like I said, it's my favorite time of the year, man. The off season, man. It's gonna be fun.
Everybody in the chat, I just want to say, appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe. Ryan
Miller's see Ryan Miller. That's why I'm saying it's interesting. If Derek Carr gets traded to New York, man. That's Josh Dubois is fair, dude. He's fair with his takes. When he criticized Derek Carr, there was pretty fair takes. And New York media is a completely different animal, man. Especially in Jersey, man, because but anyway,
well, I want to say something.
But like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, man. There's still a lot to unfold, man. A lot to unfold, man. And I mean, today was like one of the few games where we held Patrick Mahomes. I know we got blown out today, but we held Patrick Mahomes to 1 touchdown, man. It's like all the other games. You know how many touchdowns Patrick Mahomes? Let me break you down a stat for Derek Carr. Here, I'll give you one for Derek Carr. So Patrick Mahomes, 10 games now we've played against Patrick Mahomes. That was his 29th combined touchdown versus the Raiders in 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr threw 32 touchdowns in 2015? I mean, so Derek Carr still in the last 4 years, has he ever surpassed like 29 touchdowns? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is whooping our ass.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Yeah.
We got to answer that. I'm not worried about the Patriots or what fucking somebody thinks or how somebody feels coming into our building. I'm worried about fucking winning, dude. That's what I'm worried about. And if we got to rebuild this roster 2 times in 1 year in the mid-season, if you got to gut this team on a bye week, do what you got to do to win football
bro,
games.
If it wasn't a rebuild, bro, you don't get rid of Trayvon Mullen.
That's the mentality, to winning mentality.
Dude,
I ain't worried about emotions.
If it wasn't a rebuild, we wouldn't have got rid of like guys like Leatherwood, Trayvon Mullen, Jonathan Abram. I'm not saying those guys are starters or like studs, but like this coaching staff would have figured out a way to utilize those guys. We dropped off
those guys
so
were
many
cut by
guys
the teams too
in mid-season. This like some of them were beginning of the season, but
Trayvon Mullen got cut by the Cardinals.
Well,
we don't get a 7th round conditional pick for that trade. We don't get a 7th round conditional pick for that trade because they cut him. So that's two organizations that evaluated him and said, you're not making our team. Maybe he makes a team in the offseason. The NFL is the top-notch league, dude. It's that level of football, man. And
I want to comment.
And like I said, I know the 5th-year option, you got to take advantage of that with Josh Jacobs. I give my opinion. That's a great take. They dropped his 5th year. That was a gamble. That's a gamble. They put him in a contract year. They got results. We just didn't get the season we needed. So
the reality is the Chandler Jones contract was dog shit. Renfro got paid too much, never earned.
Chandler Jones won us a game.
Hunter Renfro or Darren Waller, his contract was too early. So no, dude, I respectfully disagree.
Chandler Jones contract got us a game. Won us a game.
Southside. He said the circus of the season is finally over. Absolutely disgusting. The circus is just starting, dude, because all the rumor takes and fucking the Tom Brady talk, all that shit's gonna get me like fucking warming up. And then going into next year, we're like, where's Derek Carr going?
It's gonna be forgotten.
The Carr fans are gonna go follow Carr, or like, oh, I told you he was better. So like, dude, this fucking circus show's just getting started, man. Unfortunately, so. They shit the fucking bed. It wasn't good enough. And there's a lot of blame to go around to fucking everybody, dude. From the coaching staff, the GM, Mark Davis, fucking Derek Carr, everybody, dude. So shout out to you, Anthony, man. I mean, I don't think Carr is going to want to be a Raider, guys. I think that bridge is burned. I think we've sailed past that option, and I think it's moving forward. I think the entire time, I didn't want to say it early in the season because I want to win, dude. I want to go to the playoffs. I want to win a playoff game. I think the entire time, what I was saying in week 4 in a group chat, not on like live videos, but I was saying, I think if this coaching staff keeps tanking like this, I think their plan is to get Tom Brady. That's what I was saying. I just didn't want to put it out there in the open. I know other people do clickbait shit. I just didn't want to put it out in the open because I don't fucking want them. You know what I'm saying? So the season's over now. I'll do a video on it later on about some more thoughts because there's some like different takes and things that I've like kind of came across that I feel, but you know, we'll see, man. I mean, this whole shit show, I don't know, man. I'm going to put the link in the chat here real quick. If Al's Ghost or anybody else, if you guys want to come on here and you can be respectful, I know we're all fucking fired up right now because we all hate losing and whatnot. But if anybody wants to come in here, you guys can turn off your, like how Al's Ghost does, you can turn off your camera if you don't want to be seen, and you can give your take. Just be respectful and don't take it personally. Hey, at the end of this shit, guys, like we should all bleed silver and black, whether someone's pro car against car, okay? And at the end of it, like if there's any like blame to go around, if instead of us personally attacking each other, it should be towards fucking Mark Davis, Dave Ziegler, and Josh McDaniels, in my opinion. Those are the top guys that are in charge, and they didn't fucking do enough, man. They should have got more production out of this team. And maybe I do think we lack talent, and that has some blame to go around, but there's plenty of fingers to point, and it starts at the top. If your leadership can't get it done, they need to take self-accountability. Dave Ziegler did not take self-accountability in that interview he fucking did yesterday. So start with that motherfucker. He needs to step up to the plate and take a higher role that they did not fucking do good enough.
Yeah, it's 6-11 season. You know, it's a 6-11 season, and you know, I'm saying we could easily
at least
made the playoffs.
You can say we have a high draft pick again, right? Hey, that's
Well,
good. We've had high draft picks for 20 fucking years, and they've done what? They've done what besides Khalil Mack? Who else? So it doesn't matter who's our GM. Going back to Al Davis, getting Hayward fucking Bay, to fucking Reggie McKenzie, to John Gruden and that shit show, to the current fucking regime. We'll see. They haven't proven shit. I ain't giving nobody freebies till they fucking prove it. And this shit was not fucking good enough.
Yeah. Well, we're in that new era, dude, we're in our 12th season without, you know, like with a GM. You know, remember Al Davis ran this organization without a GM. I mean, before, you know, going back to Ron Wolf, you know, with our last
ran it into the ground. His later days, it was fucking terrible, even from Al Davis, bro.
Oh, but what I'm saying is that we're evolving into the league as far as the way the league is structured with GMs and stuff like that. That Al had so much power. And then Mark inherits the team. Mark's not really an NFL owner, man. He inherited the team, man. And you know, so what's the next step? I'll put it this way: Mark Davis. So do fans really want Mark Davis to sell the team? And the only reason I stress concern, like you're seeing right now, you know, you saw the visiting fan base literally take over today,
and last week.
But today was the bigger takeover. Today I saw today Chiefs fans really took that stadium over.
Can you blame Raider fans? I mean, this product on the field, and we got lied to, bro. We got straight fucking lied to. How can you expect Raider fans to want to go to the games?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Raider fans needed to show up. What I'm saying is that Mark Davis sells the team's already corporate. Imagine if he sold it to some freaking computer chip freaking guru dude who freaking, or some freaking tech company dude, or some shit like that, dude. What if they fucked with our logo? You know? Yeah, I mean, no, seriously, what if they fucked with the Raider logo?
Honestly, I don't know if I could be a Raider fan. I don't fucking know, man.
So we got to be careful with how we evaluate that, man, because like I'm hanging on to every bit of old school Raider I can, man. Mark Davis and Al's wife, they're the last remaining of the Davis family. There's no kids for him to pass this on to or anything, man. So man, we got to hope for the best right now, man, because I don't know. We've already seen teams change their logos. We've already seen shit happen in this league, man. So, you know, and this is by design per the league, dude, you know, and, you know, so yeah, and hopefully not, you know what I mean? Hopefully not, man, because the thing is, man, is like I said, man, we just want to keep like this goes back to the AFL, like even today's game goes back to the AFL, man. That's, you know, our rich history, man, of Raider football, man. And that's, believe it or not, and when the Raiders are good in the NFL is so much more relevant, dude. It's so much better when the Raiders are good, dude. God, man, just last year when they made the playoffs, man, I mean, like, when they made the playoffs, that was such a good feeling going into that game, knowing, hey, it's one game at a time from here. That was the mentality when we talked, what game? When you had Q on, we were 3-7. We were going to face. We just came out, or we were 4-7. We had just lost to the Jags, I believe. And
Yeah,
I was saying it, dude. I was like, hey, man,
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
if you can make that stretch at that time, which was reasonable, you already had 4 blown leads. If you could have made that stretch and we could be in a position to be 9-8 today, where today we're playing the Chiefs at, say we're 8-8 and we're playing for 9-8, we're actually fighting and in position today for a playoff spot, man. So once again, man, it's a lot still to unfold, man. I try to be as supportive as I can to the organization, man, because I'm glad I don't pay $800 a ticket to go there. That would have sucked to spend $800 to go watch the Raiders today play the Chiefs and have to deal with Chiefs fans. My buddy went to a couple games, man, where he went to the Bears game, and he went to the Bears game and he felt like he was outnumbered with Bears fans. I was like, that's tragic, man. We're not used to that, dude. I'm used to going to games where, even on a road game with Raider fans, man, where we're the dominating fan base on the road, you know, and then now at home, man, you're seeing the road fans literally take over Vegas. It's a vacation spot. And like I said, this was that was a tough thing to witness, man. It was tough enough to witness Pittsburgh kind of invade in 2019. You know, I mean, I think that was 2019 or 2018. So, hey, Freddie B, what's up, brother? Happy Saturday to you, man. Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everybody in the chat, man. And, you know, we're going to see what the offseason brings, dude. We're going to see what the offseason brings, man. There's you know, it's not the greatest quarterback class. You know, we still don't know what Derek Carr. We still a lot to unfold, man. And I don't think we're going to get the ultimate truth until we start hearing what's going down in negotiations and players, you know, making it to team meetings and stuff like that. But ultimately, dude, and here's another thing, dude, there's some rumors too that the Commanders would be interested in a Derek Carr trade. There was some, and I do miss Oakland. Hey, that Raiders fan, I miss Oakland, dude. That's, you know, what's crazy is I was watching the game today, and I know I just kind of rambled off here, but check this out. I was watching the game. The field does look like Oakland. The field looks like Oakland, like when they're on the 50-yard line and you can see the dirt, you know, because they grow the real grass out in the sunshine and all that. It's pretty cool. So, like, I think the field looks like the old Oakland field, but then you look around in the stadium, you're just like, oh my gosh, dude, there's red in the stands. There's, you know, the picture's too clear. The HD's too good. The 1080p is too good. Anyway,
hey, we got Ryan Miller up in here. So let's welcome Ryan Miller. Hey, Raider Nation. If you guys are in the chat, dude, let's all of us vent this shit out. As long as we don't get personal, man, you guys can come on here like Ryan Miller is. Give your opinion. It takes all kinds of minds, like, you know, people to make the world go round. I truly believe that. But, like, you know, I want to hear other people's takes too. So I'll put the link in here. Please subscribe to Raider Dave Grimecast. I'm going to put a link in his on his channel in the chat right now, you know, and please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. But, you know, I just want to say, you know, appreciate everybody for coming in here, and let's get Ryan Miller's take, how he's feeling about this game, this season, and where you stand with everything. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
What's up, brother?
Pretty good. So, I didn't hear Zeig's take on the season hardcore.
Okay.
I was listening to your video last night. Yeah, I agree with you. He kind of lied to us at the beginning of the season. This was not supposed to be a rebuild. I think they used reload, actually.
Yeah.
For the 55th time in my life. Yes. Another reload.
We're never rebuilding. We're only reloading. I remember that one. Going back to the 90s, brother. I remember that one.
And I didn't expect much of this game, to be honest with you. I mean, my blood was boiling because I hate the Kansas City Chiefs.
Thank you. Thank you, dude. Got to end this shit now.
But I just didn't expect a win. I really didn't. This season has been one of the most, I mean, probably one of the biggest disappointments, really. I mean, getting Adams and all these guys on this offense and just winning 6 games. It's just nuts.
It is, yeah.
And now we're heading into an off season where, like, last year at this time, I'm like, damn, we're, you know, playoffs. I know we're, you know, probably going to get a new coach. But still, it's like, it was optimism, like, was there. It's like, damn, we got a pretty good squad. You know, we're in the playoffs. And now it's like, I'm feeling like, oh my God, like, where are we going? Like, half this team is going to be gone probably.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Ryan Miller. Like, where are you at with Josh Jacobs, and how confident do you feel that this regime will sign Josh Jacobs to a contract?
I'm thinking like 85% they franchise tag him.
But do you think how do you think that would make Jacobs feel after he just we'll get into it here in a minute, but after he pretty much he should keep the NFL rushing leader. I think he's head by around 200 yards. I'll put it up here in a little bit, but
yeah, I was really hoping that he was going to get that today. I don't know how many yards he ended up with. I was just so frustrated watching the game. I mean, he fell behind so early that he couldn't really eat. You know, I mean, he just couldn't get it going.
Yeah. So his total yards, I'll tell you, this game was 45. So 160
plus 5 yards receiving. He had 50 yards total.
Yeah. So 160 plus 45. So he's 205 yards ahead of Nick Chubb right now.
So as long as Chubb doesn't go off, tomorrow he'll be all right.
They are playing the Steelers. So you know, they got Hayward, whatever, for defensive lineman that was really good against our run when we played the Steelers, and then you know, TJ Watt. So it might be a little tough for them to run, but I don't know.
Dude, I'm like you, man. I don't trust Zeke, dude. I mean, I mean, you know what? I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I really do. I just don't trust him, man. That's why I see these guys giving him a franchise tag. You know, dude, I want him. I want him.
We've been hoodwinked too so many times, dude. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I would love to have Josh, man. I mean, there was a point this season where I was like, you know what? Get rid of Waller and give his money to Josh. You know, but frustrating. It really is. And the Brady thing, dude, I don't even want to get going on that. I really think we should draft a quarterback, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Or a D lineman to help Max.
We have to get a quarterback no matter what, first or second round.
Yes,
that's my take.
I mean, I agree. And that's probably where it's going to be if we don't get Brady. You know, it'll probably be a quarterback.
Well, even if we get Brady, I think we need to get another quarterback. You know, I mean, unless we were going to keep Stidham as a backup, I don't know, man. I mean, he did good last week, but this game, I mean, it was a combination of things. But the offensive line did terrible, so it's hard to see if Stidham is worth like keeping as a backup or whatever. But he definitely didn't play good enough to like put himself in the running to be a starting quarterback for us next year. That's my opinion, at least.
And then, I mean, why would Brady come here? I mean, look at the O-line issues, like you just said. Like, does Brady really want to, you know? Wow, I mean, look at their O-line.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and they just won the division in Tampa Bay too. I mean, they got a home playoff game and they got a run to make still.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't, you know.
And I can't believe the holes that we have. Really, to be honest with you, like going into the season, I mean, I was excited. I thought, okay, no less we should win 11 games. And now the season's over, and I'm like, you hardcore. I'm looking at the roster and I'm thinking, oh my man, we have holes everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
The O-line, the D-line.
No, definitely. I want to pause
corner.
And big time now at corner because Rock Ya-Sin's going to probably hit free agency. That's going to be a hard one to lose right there.
Yep.
All right. So real quick here, I want to pause for a second. Warreb said something about, I don't know what it was, like 4 or 5 weeks ago. He had made a comment. I didn't respond to it, but he had made a comment to one of the videos I did saying like, you know, he's like, you know, essentially what he was saying is that we're only going to win 6 games because the sports bettors said we're only going to win 6 games. And he's like, book it. He's like, you know, he's like essentially like screenshot this, or he's like, I'm telling you, we'll finish the season and they're not going to let us win more than 6 games. So I just want to say mad respect to Warreb because you hit the fucking nail on the head. I don't know how or what, or like, you know, if it's just happen chance, but it did happen. He said it would happen. And so it's fucking crazy. So I just want to give a lot of respect to him because, you know, he called it. It was a little far fetched at the time. And I didn't want to like, it wasn't that I thought he would be like, he was wrong. It was just like, I didn't want to think that we were only going to win 6 fucking games. So respect.
Not with this roster.
Yeah. But I guess hindsight's 2020. So, but sorry, go ahead, man. You were saying a lot of holes on defense and cornerbacks and D line and stuff, or
yeah, the defense is a mess. I mean, this defense has been a mess the last 20 years. Let's not kid each other. I mean,
heck yeah, dude.
I mean, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. For some reason, I thought Pat Graham could kind of get it turned around. Like, I know the Giants weren't that good. I mean, and I live on the East Coast, man. I'm in Maryland, so I pay attention to Baltimore, the Giants, the Jets, Pittsburgh. They're all around here, you know, and so that's all I see. So Patrick Graham didn't do bad last year, considering the Giants weren't that good. Like when they played Kansas City, they held them under 20 points.
Yep.
And the Giants were not that good last year. And then so I was like kind of skeptical, but then, getting rid of Hankins, getting rid of Abram, like you said earlier on the show, like, man, we started cutting people, and it was like, what is going on? Like Mullen, Hankins, Abram, like I know these guys aren't, top tier guys, but it's like I thought we could get good use out of them. Like,
Yeah.
what is the scheme? Like, what is going on? Like, and then I hear a rumor yesterday. I forget who said it on what podcast, but they were like, "Don't be surprised if we end up with Matt Patricia
As a head coach or a DC or
the defensive coordinator."
okay.
I want to say it was one of the Raiders beat writers. I don't know who it was, but I was like, and I try not to read all what they say, and I'm like, wow, we get Matt Patricia, let's just bring them all over here. You know what I mean? But yeah, we got holes everywhere, man. D-line, corners. We need corners now. I liked Merrick last year. He did pretty good with Gus Bradley. But this year he really regressed. He made some good plays today, I think. But
Yeah, I think Morig and freaking Nate Hobbs regressed, man. I know, was it Morig?
Yeah.
I think had a hip injury, and then Nate Hobbs, I think, broke his hand or finger or whatever the hell it was.
and he's playing out of position. They need to put Hobbs back in the slot.
Yeah, he was really good at this. I agree. That's a good take, man. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
I'm a Big Ten fan, man. I'm a Michigan fan, so I watch them guys. And Hobbs is a slot corner, man.
All right, so let's do. I mean, like, I'd like to do an end of year show. Appreciate you coming on here, Ryan.
No problem.
If
Yeah,
you
shout out to
were
you, Ryan. Good talking to you, brother.
if you were to come on here, or if you were to rate this season, like, so from everything you've seen, let's try to be honest and fair, okay? Whether we're pro car, against car, whatever, but if you were to rank this season out of 10, right? So let's kind of start at the beginning, okay? We get Davante Adams, right? Chandler Jones, Max Crosby gets signed, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. Trying to think of this is why I want to do end of year show. But while you're on here, I figured I'd ask you. But if you look at that, if you look at the production on the field, Josh Jacobs having number one rushing season, Davante Adams like third in the NFL right now with overall reception yards, led the NFL in touchdowns. That possibly could change depending on what happens tomorrow. So I guess those are positives. Obviously Davante Adams breaking Tim Brown's record. Obviously the wins weren't there, but if you were to look at everything as a body of work, what grade would you give them out of 10 on the season, Ryan?
Just the whole team?
Yeah, overall from top to bottom.
5.
I'm gonna say 4 to 5 would be probably my ranking. If they would have won today, I'd probably give them a 6, but that's me. What about you, Raider Dave?
That's basically an F, so I'll give him a 5 as well. But yeah, that's basically an F.
Yeah.
I mean, this
only winning 6 games is an F.
That's just basically a grade F.
I mean, going into the season, Jacobs, Carr, Waller, Renfrow, Adams, like Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, this was like the most exciting offseason and going into a season that I have had as a Raider fan since 2002.
Yep.
Me too.
A star-loaded team. And then to come out of it like this, definitely a 5. I mean, it just really sucks that we have this many guys that are all pro guys, but opposite of that, there's holes everywhere.
Yeah. How much would you say, like, if you I want to hear your take, Ryan, and then Raider Dave's after this. How much of this would you put on the coaching staff or lack of execution and put on the players?
Look, man, I've been a critic of Josh McDaniels all season.
Speak your piece, man.
I've wanted to kill that guy a lot of times because, I played football my whole life, high school, everything. Like when you have a 20-point lead,
mm-hmm.
I'm old school. You have a 20-point lead, you should not lose that game.
Yep. Step on the gas.
Not when you have Josh Jacobs running the ball. Not when you have Adams. I know Waller and Renfrow weren't there for a big part of the season, but even before that, the Arizona game, I sensed there was an issue after that game, and that was only in week 2.
Mhm.
And then we go to Tennessee in week 3, I believe it was. And I knew we had an issue with stopping the run, but we came back in that game. And it was like just penalties and just execution, drop passes. And it was like, I cannot believe this. Like, this is going to be one of them big seasons. Like, I just, I don't know, man. I put a lot of this on the coaching staff. I do. I know we're not loaded with talent. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm looking at it now, it's like, wow, we are missing a lot of stuff in key areas. But man, a lot of these losses has to go on the coaches. Like the Rams game just a couple weeks ago, it was like we can't score but 16 points on these guys or 13 points, whatever it was. It's like, what is going on?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Raider Dave,
That I agree with Ryan. That Tennessee game was crucial, man. That was both teams were 0-2, and they had to fight for that spot. And the Raiders had a legit shot in that game.
And they were coming off like a 40-point beat down to Buffalo.
Yep. And that was the turning point where the Raiders had a real chance to take storm and change their season, man, from 0-2 and go against those odds, man, those 0-2 odds of making the playoffs, you know?
Yep.
And no, definitely. Josh McDaniels, just by the Raiders hiring him, you know, I knew we were going to go through a transition. I always remain optimistic because games still got to be played. But Josh McDaniels, definitely, dude, his track record has proven it. And this could be the transition we're living through right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, Josh McDaniels, we don't know his, say come week 6, week 8 next year, we'll see what the discussion is on Josh McDaniels then, because if he's not winning games by midseason by midseason next season, I could see the Raiders, of course, unloading them. That's typically what happens in the NFL when you're not putting together wins. So I think we're in that transitionary period already. I think they just kind of let it go free this year to see what they had and see if they can make a run. And this season, man, it's too many chances to make the playoffs. It's such a long, adding that one game, man, has changed so much there's so much more opportunity to clinch a playoff spot, and they had their fair crack, man. They had their fair crack. I mean, 9-8 would have got them probably in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And with Chandler Jones, man, I agree. Adding Chandler Jones with Max Crosby, I was thinking 9-10 sacks for Chandler Jones and about 15-16 sacks for Max Crosby, which, you know, takes us up quite a few notches as far as matching last year's intention. Remember, we had Ngakoue last year who had like 9 or 10 sacks last year. He was very effective. But one thing, Chandler Jones did get us that win, though, against the Patriots, man. You know, he was at the right place at the right time. I know it was a gimme, but man, boy, we got to take what we can get.
That's exactly too.
Yeah.
All right. So, real quick, can you guys see that? All right.
Yes.
Kind of clicking between screens.
But let me just say something about Josh Jacobs. Aside from him being the rushing leader, he's a 2,000 all-purpose back.
Yeah.
Nearly at 2,100 yards, man. That's huge. That have we ever seen that? I mean, Marcus Allen, that's about it.
Yep.
Did he beat Marcus Allen?
No, he did not. Marcus Allen, I think, had like 1753, I think. So I think he might be like exactly 100 yards short of Marcus, maybe about a tick under 100 short of Marcus's single season record.
So Josh Jacobs is ahead by 205 yards right now to keep that rushing title. So as long as Nick Chubb don't get 205 yards and ball out against the Steelers, at least we'll have like one highlight to our season.
Which that shouldn't happen because I think Pittsburgh's playing for the playoffs.
Yeah, dude, I know. Dude, Pittsburgh's in it, man. Pittsburgh's in it. Those 8-8 teams, they have a legit shot, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If we were in that position, if we were 9-8 today, we could be one of those teams possibly getting in there. As much turmoil as we dealt with this year as far as blowing leads, the Rams game really blew it. That was it, man. And I want to say something on that game, man. That was if you guys remember Hardcore, even on that night, the night before we did that show, I gave Carr a vote of confidence. I did that on purpose, man. I was like this, dude. Give me 3 touchdowns and all 3 to Devontae Adams. Go whip their ass. They had no Aaron Donald. You were facing Baker Mayfield. Go outplay him. That's just, like I said, I don't know if that's the right mentality. That's just my mentality and what I see, the way they grade things in the NFL. I know it's not true, honest. I know it's not football, X's and O's, but it's NFL football, quarterback versus quarterback, head coach dueling as head coach versus head coach. It's John Gruden versus Andy Reid. It's Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes. So these are the matchups that we're looking for in the NFL. These are the ones that they sell, man. This is what sells these football games, man. And so that's what I was putting that confidence in Derek Carr. Go get those 3 touchdowns against this reeling football team that is coming off a Super Bowl win, that is having one of the worst following seasons, post Super Bowl seasons in NFL history. Go kick them while they're down. Go beat them down. Go get your win and move on to the next week. Then take your 11-day rest or your 10-day rest. Go beat the Patriots and then be ready for the Niners and the Chiefs. And that was where we want to be 9-8 tonight on that second hand, that second half of the season thought,
Hell yeah. So look at this. Davante Adams, 14 touchdowns. I doubt, obviously we just played the Chiefs, so Travis Kelce ain't going to catch him unless A.J. Brown gets 3 touchdowns or Stephon Diggs gets 4 touchdowns. He's probably going to hold that title for most touchdowns by wide receiver in the NFL. So that's a positive that we could reflect on. We should give Derek Carr some respect for that. He also has he's tied with Tyreek Hill for 40 plus yard reception catches or whatever. Tyreek Hill possibly could still break this, so we'll see. And then he's, as far as receptions, he's like ranked 3rd. So I really was hoping he'd have a little bit bigger of a game. I mean, he did pretty well.
But look at those numbers though.
Yeah, no, when
was the last time a Raider wide receiver caught 14 touchdowns?
I mean, he's a super stud, man.
But when was the last time a Raider wide receiver caught 14 touchdowns?
Probably Tim Brown or something, dude.
Probably James Jett in 97.
Did James Jett catch 14?
I think he caught like 12 from Jeff George that year.
Oh shit, dude! I'm still gonna get a James Jett jersey, but 14 touchdowns. So I'm not trying to butter
I'll be honest with you, that's this season reminds me of that season. Like,
yeah,
we had Jeff George, Napoleon Kaufman led the league. Like, I think he was top 5 in rushing. Tim Brown was top 5 in receiving. Jeff George had damn near 4,000 yards, and the result we were 4-12.
And we're happy when Jeff George's growing gets fucking locked up on the field and comes hobbling off the field, and we see Donald Hollis come in. We're like, Donald Hollis is the answer. You're right, dude. Ryan Mill, we're right. He jumped out and
6-2 as a starter.
So we got to give Joe Bugle credit. I mean, I'm sorry, Josh McDaniels credit. I'm just joking. But no, man. But I gotta give Dave Ziegler a little love on those 14 touchdowns from Adams, because he did get that deal, dude. You know what I mean? And that comes back to like fielding phone calls. Like, that's kind of like how I want my general manager to operate. You know what I mean? Like, the way they did that deal was, it's like, hey man, we know you guys have a problem with Davante Adams. You got to sign Aaron Rodgers, blah, 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 blah. He waited patiently. It was a patient approach where they're fielding back and forth phone calls, and for us to get out of that deal and get us a wide receiver and at least give our team a chance this year. I got to give him some credit on that one.
Yeah.
But yes, we are in a deep situation where we have to sit back and reevaluate what happened this year and see if there's anything that can come about this, man, because I'm always clinging on to that one little bit of hope that we can find that one guy, man, that one guy that could just flip our locker room upside down, man, and just take this thing by storm. You never know when you're going to find that guy, man. It happens in the NFL. I'm just optimistic and hopeful that something goes our way eventually in that thought process.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. Let's kind of look at some of these stats from the game. All right. Jarrett Stidham, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Got sacked six times for 39 yards. That's a lot of sacks and a lot of yards. But this stands out to me. This is really not good. QBR 31.7. So QBR, I mean, fuck, that's like got to be a record. So he had a really awesome game last week, and this game was just really subpar. He had 50 rushing yards, it looks like. He had more rushing yards than Josh Jacobs. So I know Josh Jacobs was a little banged up going to this game. I was hoping he'd get at least 50 yards because I knew Josh Jacobs was ahead of Nick Chubb as far as all-time rushing yards for to hold the NFL title for rushing leader. So because Josh Jacobs was at 160, I was like, well, if Josh Jacobs gets like 50 to 80 yards, then he should hold that title. So he got 45. So, not too bad there. Davante Adams, 73 yards. Not great, not terrible. Hunter Renfrow. So this is one I said last week. I really been wanting Hunter Renfrow to get more involved. So I'm glad he got targeted a lot more and kind of came on the scene. Darren Waller, he dropped a big catch, dude, on third down. That could have been a game changer for us. So this stat could have been a lot better. Mac Hollins, we need a true number 2 wide receiver. Mac Hollins dropping these fucking catches, dude, throughout the season. He's done good at times, but he's also done plays, I feel, where he could have made a little more effort trying to get the ball, and he just goes limp on it. So that part really pisses me off. Josh Jacobs, 5 yards or whatever. Foster Moreau, that 10-yard catch right at the beginning of the game. But I don't know, any of these stats stand out to you guys that you're like, oh, well, hold on real quick. And then defense, Max Crosby had 1 sack. Did we have another sack? Oh, Cleveland Farrell had a sack. And so 2 sacks total. But any of these stats stand out to you guys as we're looking at it? What's your thoughts on it?
Renfro didn't exactly go off, but I was kind of happy to see he had 7 catches, you said?
Yeah, I'll scroll back down. Let me click back over there. Sorry.
I think Renfro was the fantasy points day leader with 7 catches, 65. Was it 70? Yeah,
Okay.
7 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. But he was the fantasy leader for all players in just the afternoon game. That was
probably his best game of the year.
Yep.
I was excited for him this year because of Josh McDaniels being able. Was he calling plays when Wes Welker was in New England?
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's how I looked at this. I'm like, man, Hunter Renfro is going to eat.
Yep.
And
I was thinking of that too.
Yeah. I know, there's that whole thing out there where Renfro goes off script or he does what he does running routes, but I was ecstatic because I was like, man, Hunter Renfro should have 150 catches.
Dude, he had a great year last year too, man. Great year.
Cleve Farrell. I don't know what to think of him.
Time to move on.
I mean, I was hoping Patrick Graham's scheme would kind of wake him up, and he's played decent the last couple of weeks. But I think they're going to move on.
Me too. He had a flying sack where he flew to the football, but he's just not at that level where he can dominate, and that's just what we need, dude. Unless he gets a deal, dude, where he just becomes that player.
And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He should not have been picked where he was picked.
No, man.
I mean, maybe I don't know. With Farrell, maybe as a backup, what if we were paying him $3 or $4 million? I don't know what a backup defensive end goes for, but
I would definitely take him as a backup.
Yeah, a backup, a cheap contract. But if he wants more money than that, then yeah, let him walk. That's where I'm.
Yeah.
And if I remember, they drafted him for prototype. They drafted him for his measurables for Gunther's defense. So
yeah, because he could work inside and outside.
Yep. So they did use him inside a lot in Gunther's, and then even Bradley used him inside. And but yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting offseason, man. Because we're gonna see the difference between this staff, and of course we see that every 2-3 years, but we get to see that again in year 21.
What do you guys think of Jarrett Stidham real quick here? What do you think of his rushing for 50 yards more than Josh Jacobs? Did you guys like that or not like that? Or what do you guys think of that?
I'll be honest with you. I like the fact that he would get out of there because Derek Carr ain't making a lot of them plays.
Exactly. I agree.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and shit on DC because I have my own opinion of him. I commented last week when you're so hardcore. I live on the East Coast, so I've only seen one Raider game my whole life, and he hit Crabtree for the game-winning touchdown in Baltimore.
Nice.
And he lit it up he didn't light it up that day, but he had a great day. That was 2016, though, so he had a great year. But he didn't have what Stidham has when it comes to getting out of the pocket and getting a first down.
Yeah. So
yep. Well, there's one play on Stidham, I'll tell you. When he took off for that 9-yard run, I liked his decision making. It looked like he made up his mind to run the football and wasn't second guessing that. He just tucked it and ran, and he stayed towards the sideline to where he had the right angle to get just enough yardage, not create a turnover or anything like that. But I like the fact that he does use his legs, man. You got to sustain drives. I did like how he kept his eyes downfield too.
Kind of remind me of Rich Gannon.
Yep.
He didn't second guess it. As soon as it was there, he was gone.
Yep.
This Josh Jacobs stat, I think, really shows how they were stacking the box and how deficient our offensive line was. Josh Jacobs usually averaged, I think, around about 5 yards a carry or somewhere in there. And, right here, he only averaged 2.6 yards a carry. So the offensive line was not doing very good to help Josh Jacobs out. I think that's kind of what that shows. So
I only saw one hole for Jacobs today. That was it. Other than that, he was looking for space. I just saw that one hole on the left side that developed, and it looked like, I think he broke like maybe a 10, maybe 12-yard run. It looked like he was about to break. He got to almost to the second phase or the third phase of the defense, but I only saw one hole really open up for him today, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a little bit of faith in our offensive line coach, though, because this offensive line was a Band-Aid.
Oh, totally. Hey,
And
dude.
I'm
led the
pretty
league
sure
in rushing.
offensive line coach came from college. I don't even think he was an NFL offensive
He
line.
was actually with the Patriots.
He was?
Carmen Bracello, I think his name is. I think he was at New England.
Oh, okay. One of our maybe it's the running backs coach. One of the coaches was a college coach that came over here. But anyways,
I know Anthony Pierce, the linebackers coach. I think he came from college. Wherever our linebacker Darian Butler came from is where Pierce came from.
yeah. So I'm gonna remove the stats off here, guys. So anybody in the chat, Ryan Miller, let's get your guys' honest opinion, dude. Let's get no fakes in here, all right?
But can I say one other thing on Jared Stidham, though? Because it was brought up in the chat. Devontae did have 2 key drops. I mean, not saying that he should have made those grabs, but there was a couple balls that could have went for touchdowns. And once again, and then another comment that looks pretty appropriate for as far as what we saw today, and that's from Otis. They were already checked out today. You could see they were just there. And I pretty much agree. We saw the business side of football today. I wish we could have saw the fight with pride to try to beat the Chiefs and try to, maybe that effort was there in the first and second quarter, but did you
guys see the Ziegler interview last night? Did you guys watch that yet?
I watched like the first 4 minutes of it.
So he was like, hey, you should see him out there practicing. They're practicing like they're going out there and playing a playoff game. And maybe they were, but like, I just don't understand how the Raider organization drops it like the night before our very last game. I think that's complete horrible timing. Anybody like, if you look at some of the people that like watched it on YouTube, that was like checking it out, they essentially had a very similar opinion as I did, which is like, dude, there's no accountability in this. And how's this dude going to brush over? Like their goal isn't to go to the Super Bowl, as well as brush over when they were like 2-7, and he's doubling down that they're not going to change their process. So I think there was a huge fail as far as dropping that video, because that can kill morale. If you're an NFL player, I don't care what team you are, and your team drops a video like that, and then your fucking GM is not taking enough accountability and trying to fluff it up, dude. People can see a fake. It ain't got to be me freaking out, fucking yelling on a microphone. Other people like aren't stupid either. Like, you know what I mean? You ain't got to be a rocket scientist. And these guys are in the locker room. That what they did and what he said could have helped kill the morale of this team before we went into this game, because like Otis was saying, like, they were already checked out. And you know what? I mean, maybe you can't blame them to some degree, because they don't want to get hurt. Some of them will be here, some of them won't, and they want to stay healthy for their next team and all that shit. So but it's looking at it, it's really frustrating. I mean, I guess one thing I want to ask you guys before we get out of here, and everybody that's left in the chat, appreciate you guys, but let's be honest, would you guys have rather had a win or a draft pick? So would you rather had a higher draft pick or beat the Chiefs and try to ruin their chances to have home field advantage in the playoffs, and which can help their Super Bowl chances? So I'll go first. I wanted the win. The draft pick being a little higher kind of helps out moving forward. But I would rather have the win. What about you, Raider Dave?
Always want the win, especially if you're winning the last game of your season, man. There's this one thing that we can't define yet, and that's called momentum, dude. It's how things change momentum. And if you can take a win against the Chiefs, we talked about the 99 season earlier. If you take that win, just like you did in 1999 that you got in Kansas City to go 8-8 and upset the Chiefs, I believe it was in Kansas City, and then we carry that on and win 3 straight West. That's the type of momentum I'm looking for. Always take a win, because the whole offseason, you're riding on a 1-game winning streak. Unfortunately, we're on a 5-game losing streak now to the Chiefs since we beat them in 2020 with half their crowd in Kansas City. So I know I'm pouring salt on my own wound here, but man, you know what? I want to take that foul taste in the offseason with me now and fucking hope this team can really start to freaking get a grip and build on what was accomplished this year. Your huge numbers from Davante Adams, your huge numbers from Josh Jacobs, and possibly, hopefully we approve in the trenches where we can dominate. That's that. But ultimately, it's all about getting the win, man.
Hell yeah. Well said. I love it. What about you, Ryan? What were you thinking, man, going into the game?
I agree with Raider Dave 100%, because I remember that game in '99. I think that knocked them out of the playoffs.
It did. It did. Yep.
That was like Tyrone Wheatley's coming out party because we had just, I think, signed him like a week ago or like a couple weeks earlier, and he just
you
ran
loved
over
him at
top of
Michigan
him.
too.
Yes, yes. But and it carried us into that off season, and I think the following year we were 12-4, I think it was, and that's when we started beating Kansas City.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Ryan. Remember our defense had a quarterback kill list that year, like Reagan Upshaw and those guys. Remember it started with Reagan Upshaw popping Ryan Leaf and splitting his chin open, and
and then it ended with our quarterback under Saragusa.
I know.
So please don't bring that up.
I know. But it was crazy how that. But that was our defense mentality. Our defensive mentality was.
Yeah, we docked out a lot of people that year. I think Darrell Russell was the other guy on our line. Yep. He was a stud. But hardcore, I'd have rather had the win going into the all season with a win. I mean, and plus it would have gave Buffalo back home field, who I think that's who I'll be rooting for in the playoffs is Buffalo. Just because, I mean, I was a kid, but that 4-year stretch where they went and lost all 4 Super Bowls in a row.
That was tough.
It's like, man, just go get one, But like, I was kind of hoping after this week, the way and what happened to their guy, we could at least got this game and taken home field back from Kansas City. Because my disdain for Kansas City runs deep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and sometimes I'm like, I think of Marty Schottenheimer, and it's like, my God, I hated that guy.
Now it's Andy Reid.
Yeah, it is. And I think, and also that 99 game, I think we only beat them like one time in the 90s up until that game.
Yeah, no, You're right. Can you guys see this right now? I got to click back and forth. Is this showing up yet? Let me see. Oh, hold on. All right, there we go. All right, my bad.
No, but good conversation, Ryan. I love talking football, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So here it is right here. So that 99 season, this is, hold on a sec. Give me a second. 41. All right. So they have this opposite. This is like as if it was the Chiefs record versus the Raiders. So the losses are actually wins for the Raiders and the wins are losses. So to your point, if you look right here, so November 28th, 1999 to 1997 here, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games we went without beating the Chiefs. And then when we won, so to Dave's point, this is what kind of we were talking about, and I mentioned it too yesterday, but if you beat the Chiefs, it can be momentum moving forward. And then we beat them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, and that helped propel us for that those playoff runs that the Raiders and win the division, eventually bringing us to a Super Bowl, So, but look at this, man. I mean, from 2007 right here, all the way down. So these wins are actually losses for the Raiders, all the way down to 2003. If you look at that, man, I mean, look at that stretch that they have where they've like just beat us. You know what I mean? And then you go up again. I mean, it's back and forth a little bit in there, but then here again, 2016, right? And then 2014. Whoop. But a bunch of like 1, 2, 3, 4, another 5-game stretch where we didn't win. And then again, 20. So this proves Dave's point, I guess is where I'm getting at with this, guys. 2017 all the way to 2019. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that we lost as well. And then the overall record. And now we're on a good Lord. We beat them once in 2020.
You see why I'm stressing?
1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on another 5-game losing streak.
And that's a new quarterback too, dude. That guy just came on the scene in 2018.
We're 72 and 54 against the Chiefs. So they've dominated us.
But hold up. I want to say something to that. I didn't mean to cut you off at all, dude. But check this out. They were tied though, just like 20 years ago. The Raiders, this rivalry was neck and neck. They were like 53 or 52 and 52 with the two ties. That was it. Going back, they have stretched this lead, man. And I know that's not the ultimate goal. Its ultimate goal is winning Super Bowls and all that and getting back to greatness. But that's just something to keep an eye on, man, because we got to stop the bleeding there, man.
That's the team we have to beat.
That's the team.
We got to go into the Super Bowl unless we beat them for the division.
Absolutely right. And we got to set our standard. We got to set our standard high. You know,
Yes.
we can't
And
just think, if we make the playoffs, that's good enough. No, it's not, man. Go
Yeah.
compete with Mahomes. Go get in his face. I liked how it started with Max Crosby holding on to Kelsey's helmet. I was like, oh, maybe he ripped somebody's head off today.
Well, this
was like,
stretch I highlighted to your point, Dave. To your point, Dave, this stretch I highlighted where we won in that overtime game where it was the 99 season, but it was the game was technically like January 2nd of 2000. That was the start of a big run. And that was the first Gruden era. That's when we went to the Tuck game later on. We went to the playoffs and eventually went to the Super Bowl. So
Yep.
it just goes to show the point is obviously like if we can beat a team like the Chiefs as well as other people in our division, you got to focus on winning your division first, and you got to get that home field advantage in the playoffs. And
we went on a 5-2 stretch right there. That was a 5-2 stretch.
Yeah, we did really good back then. We need to get back to that, man.
But also one other thing to revisit back then. Remember, Elvis Gerbach got the monster deal when Gannon transitioned to Oakland. I know that was a little bit earlier, but Elvis Gerbach was the multi-million-dollar guy that played behind Steve Bono, guy that played behind Joe Montana, ready, you know, like what we would think of Jared Stidham, so to say, or whatever, playing behind Tom Brady or you know what people think sometimes, you know. So Gerbach got the monster $100 million contract. Gannon was kicked to the curb to free agency. Everybody was like, Gannon's kind of a backup. Can he play? He's the next chief, this and that. Gannon, man, you never know. You just never know. Gannon became that guy that we look back, man, and that's our guy, man, from 20 years ago that won us 3 straight AFC West titles, and he's still in the Raider building to this day.
Dell Jr. is in the chat. That's one of the original OG members. I don't know if you remember Dell Jr. Raider Day, but shout out to Dell.
Shout out to you, brother.
Haven't seen you in a long time. I can't remember if that's a dude or a chick, but I apologize. But either way, Dell Jr., what's up? Glad to see you in here. It's been a long time, man. So appreciate you coming in here.
And Dell Jr. spot on, man. We draft is how you build the foundation, man. That's how you build your depth. And that's what this team needs, man. We need depth, man. And but we'll see. We'll see, man. Offseason is going to be interesting. By the way, what's happening in tonight's game?
I have it on my iPad right here, but I wasn't paying attention. It's a commercial right now. I can look here in a minute.
I'm just curious.
I can pull it up on my ESPN app too, or whatever. But any other thoughts or opinions before we get on out of here? I'd like to do a closeout game show where we can kind of maybe be a little more focused. I can pull up some stats of the overall season, kind of give our thoughts like from the start to finish, maybe a little more in depth. I'm a little emotional right now. I always hate ending the season and we're like, on to the draft or whatever. So that is kind of disappointing. All right, real quick. Titans 13, Jaguars 7. It's halftime. So,
all right.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Hey, Ryan, Bill, I got a question for you, man. So how was your experience in Baltimore with the Raider game, man? I know it's probably one of the better Raider games you went to, but just the environment, man, if you wanted to share that with Raider Nation, what your environment was like, in that.
It is still to this day the only Raider game I've ever been to. Oakland was on my bucket list, man, but I mean I'm on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
I was stunned when I went to that game how many Raider fans were at that game, because living here throughout my life, like I'm in Raven country, like it's nothing but Baltimore here. Like when they win, the street lights are purple.
Yeah, and they've won 2 Super Bowls. You've seen them win 2 Super Bowls as well.
Yeah, and it's tough because that's all I work with, or Ravens fans, or Eagles fans, Pittsburgh fans. It's like that's all that's around here. So, going to that game, I thought I'd be outnumbered like 1 in a million, but there had to have been, probably over exaggerating, but there had to have been 10,000 Raider fans there.
Nice.
And that's when I learned, like, there was a DC Metro Raider Nation, like a fan club group. Like, so I started like going and watching games with them. Like,
nice.
And it was nuts how many Raider fans. And that's where the word, to me, Raider Nation, like, we are a nationwide fan base. Like,
yep.
It don't matter if it's Maryland, California, Nevada, Wisconsin, where, like, we're deep wherever. But it was fun. I mean, and I heard nightmares about their fans being ignorant and whatever, but it wasn't even nothing like that. It was just a great experience. And it sucks. Like, I don't know if I want to go to another game because I'm 1-0 going to a Raider game, man.
You got to hold on to that sucker, man.
Man, yeah, it was actually a great experience, man.
Nice.
And just got to witness a Derek Carr comeback.
Nice.
I mean, and that's a game we had control over.
That
I
was a
think
great game.
we were 2-1 going into that. They were 3-0, I think.
What year is that one? Is that the one?
2016.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they were 3-0.
I remember
And
that game.
I think there was a big deal for like Kelechi Osemele was on our offensive line. He came from Baltimore. And like
Didn't
Jack
we play
Del Rio had
Didn't we play the Saints the week before, and that was like an amazing victory too? Or
that was
Played them
week
week
1.
one.
I think it was week 1. Yep.
Okay.
I think we lost to Atlanta in week 2. And we beat Tennessee in week 3. And then Baltimore was week 4, I do believe.
I feel like those first 4 games, like all of them were real close, and the ones we won were like pretty amazing.
They were.
Finishes,
They were. But I mean, we were beating the crap out of Baltimore. It was like 21-6.
Yeah.
Late in the third.
We had amazing offensive line. The play caller, Bill Musgrave, was letting Derek Carr just kind of.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's something I never understood. Like, why was he the scapegoat for that season? Like,
he made the best adjustment that season.
Like, why was Bill Musgrave sacrificed? Because 2015 Carr had a decent year too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he had Musgrave. And then 2016 was the MVP year. And I'm like, why? Like, why did we get rid of that dude?
And one thing to notice with Musgrave is he operated out of the booth, man, with Carr, man. None of these other offensive coordinators really operated out of the booth. Musgrave, that was pretty unique, man, to see him. And the adjustment that he made with the pinky injury, man. He made that pistol offense adjustment.
Yep. And I thought after that, I'm like, man, we can't even run the ball. But we did. Like, somehow we adjusted to that, and Latavius Murray still ran great.
Yep.
But I can't even. It's hard, and you guys can know that. You all know this. It's hard looking back at that season now, knowing how it ended.
Yep.
Because who knows where we would have gone if Carr hadn't broke his leg.
Yep.
I have friends of mine here that are like, man, y'all would have beat the Patriots that year. And I'm like, well, the game would have been on the road. Because if Carr hadn't broke his leg, we'd have won a division.
Yep.
I think we were a game ahead of Kansas City. And when we lost to Denver the following week, Kansas City beat, I think, the Chargers and took the division from us. And it was like, man, if we would have played New England, it would have been on the road anyway. So it was like we weren't as good, I think, on the road that year as we were at home. So who knows, man? I mean, that's the one thing about Derek. I could look back and say, hey, man, that sucks, because who knows what would have happened if that hadn't have happened.
If Derek doesn't break his leg, dude, we probably win the AFC West. All he has to do is knock out, and with all that momentum after because they were thrashing the Colts. They were thrashing the Colts, man. And then, that last game in Denver, or was it the last game in Denver? He would have faced Trevor Siemian. They would have locked that. Khalil Mack would have had his way with Trevor Siemian. And yeah, man, what a fucking horrible taste, man, going back to that 2016 year, man, because that was the year to win the West. And then even 2011, those were the 2 shots that we had to win the AFC West, man. And you're right, man. If Derek's healthy, Derek wins us the West, we get into the playoffs, and who knows how far they go in the playoffs with the way they were playing.
And look, I'm not trying to turn everything on to Derek Carr, but I didn't want to believe he was a different quarterback after that. But now going back, looking at some tape and stuff, it's like maybe that did kind of bother him after that, So who knows, man? I mean,
I think it's a combination of things from offensive line. The offensive line was really good back then. I think the offensive coordinator kind of let Derek Carr have free reins. I think it was just the system was like adjusted to bring the best out of Derek Carr. And I think some of the other systems after that, like, really did hinder Derek Carr, and as well as probably the injury. We started losing. The next year was the kneeling thing with the, that happened, and some beef between the offensive line and Derek Carr, supposedly, whether no matter which side someone might be on. But I think that created some strife in the locker room, and then our offensive line was never really that good, in my opinion, after that point. But the other part of that is like I've said before, when you pay your quarterback that kind of money, you just don't have enough money to pay everybody, No,
you don't.
Something had to give, and they had to get rid of some of that. And Osawale did really good that year, but then after that, it was like, and then I know he left the Raiders, but he really didn't do anything. But that one year, man, with like him, Donald Penn, that's like short. We'd gotten our center. What the hell's his name?
Rodney
Hudson. I think that was his first or second year, but Yeah, they really did good as a unit, you know. I think that was that the first year we had Crabtree or second year? First
Second.
year?
That
Second.
was the
So
second. Yep.
Crabtree had an amazing game. Huge red zone player, man. I mean, Crabtree was just like catching everything. And then right at the end of that season, he was like pretty, or no, it was 2017 season. He was pretty pissed off that the coaching staff didn't use him. And that was like Del Rio's last game. And, you know, that was when Crabtree, the 2017 season was at the end where Crabtree got interviewed and they're like, how come you weren't being used? He's like, I don't know. You got to ask coaching. And then Gruden got rid of him. And, you know, and then, you know, Gruden told us the same thing these guys did, which is it's not a rebuild. We're trying to win now. And next thing you know, almost everybody was gone in the fucking team. And now we're getting the same replay by a different, you know, GM coach. I know it always happens in the NFL, but it's just, you know, it never feels good to get hoodwinked and lied to and bent over and like, you know, reamed. So shout out to Oakland. I miss Oakland, dude. I miss Oakland. You know, Stidham the answer. I don't know, bro. I mean, the offensive line is terrible, really hard to tell.
He's a system quarterback as of right now.
He's a backup.
I mean, the way he played today, I'm gonna say probably it's not looking good for him. So especially that offensive line is terrible. Fernie, shout out, man. Brady played terrible against Houston that year in 2016, so that could have been a legitimate run. Yeah, possibly. But yeah, let's get on out of here, guys. I'm gonna go spend some time with the family. Hopefully, you guys spend time with family too. We'll give that Devontae Adams jersey giveaway here in like 2 weeks, and then we'll try to all link up, get like me, Raider Dave, Raider Critique together, and you know, try to give our end of the year review. I want to get some stats, some other things kind of lined up for that show. But please, you guys, make sure you go subscribe to Raider Dave's channel. I'm going to put it in the chat here, you know, so I'd appreciate if you guys could help him out and go sub to his channel as well. And you guys got any other closing statements here?
Interesting year, man. Glad it's over, though. You know, remained optimistic as long as I could, dude. And, you know, man, always hope for the best, man. And all the way until the Raiders played the Chiefs today. So going to kick it in high gear in the offseason, see what happens and go from there, man. But we'll see what happens in the playoffs too, man. Hopefully the Chiefs get knocked out, dude. I don't want to see them in this thing, man. And so much love, Raider Nation. I'll catch you guys again, man. And let me know when you're ready to do the next show. I'll hop on, bro, and we'll chop it up, man.
All right,
off season's here for us.
Hell yeah, love it. Ryan, you got anything you want to say, bro?
I mean, just looking forward to the off season, man. Hopefully the first thing we do is re-sign Josh Jacobs, that is, not McDaniels.
no extension for McD.
All right, guys. Nice talking to you.
Raider Nation gets hoodwinked again by another fucking coaching staff regime. Fucking mind blown, dude. How, you know what? I'm going to close this out and I'm going to say this, dude. First of all, appreciate everybody subscribing. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of drama, hot takes, fucking clickbait shit throughout Raider Nation. You know, I'll kind of give my opinions on a few things, you know, moving forward as well. But, you know, I just want to say, like, besides all that bullshit, man, I mean, at the end of it, dude, we all bleed silver and black. Always remember that, guys. So when you guys are like, whether you're on here, somewhere else, online, social media, you know, just remember at the end of it, we all want the fucking Raiders to win. Okay. So when we're personally attacking each other and all the other bullshit, man, as long as they're like repping our colors, like wearing, you know, Raider gear and not just pretending like they're a Raider fan and they bleed silver and black, just remember that it's one nation, Raider Nation. And that's important to me, right? Because this channel was originally created to bring unity to Raider Nation. And we're going to try to continue to do that. You know, we'll see how this shit goes in the off season. Hopefully that they get this shit right. They got a short window to get it right. But at the end of the day, man, just remember that we all want to fucking win, whether someone's pro car, against car, whatever. At the end of it, it's like we're moving forward, and hopefully this coach and general manager can get this shit right. But most importantly, hopefully they learn what it means to be a Raider. That's what's important to me. They need to learn and earn our respect, and they shouldn't be just let off the hook. You know, I'm going to try to stay positive. You know, it's not that I'm not, but I'm never going to follow anybody blindly. Everybody should be held to accountability in this world, no matter what you do in life. And the one thing I want to see going in this offseason, I want to see accountability. I want to see somebody, Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, say, I didn't do good enough job. I don't want to hear this fluffy stuff like I need to do better. I want to literally hear the words out of their fucking mouth. I need to do better. And I'm going to try my hardest to do better for the Raiders, the Raider organization, Mark Davis, and for Raider Nation. They need to learn what it means to be a Raider because this shit was not good enough. And most of us Raider fans aren't fucking stupid, dude. We can see this bullshit a mile away. So I don't want to hear no fluff bullshit. I want them to take accountability and learn what it means to be a fucking Raider. So that's all I got to say. Much love, much respect, guys. So get on out of here. Appreciate everybody. And remember, there's only one nation. That's Raider Nation. Hardcore Raider out.
And in 98, we're a good team. Had some good personnel. How were you able to kind of flip it to where we were a dominant football team?
You know, Eric, you were a part of it. The attraction for me was to come and play with a lot of great players, you know, like yourself and Tim Brown and Steve Wisniewski. There was a lot, Russell Merlin. There was a lot of really good players. It just felt like we just needed a little bit more definition and a little bit more leadership. And I thought there was a transition with the new coaching staff with John, who I hadn't been there the year before. All I cared about was just coming in and working hard and trying to help the team win. And that was really my focus from day one. And I really struggled. That first year was really hard for me in 99 because I'd come from an organization where all I had to do was walk in the building every day, and there was a certain level of professionalism and attention to detail. And we got there, though.
Yeah,
it took us a while, but like we eventually got rid of some players that didn't want to do it and weren't as committed and focused as players like Eric. And so